Penda Points Series regulars like the Barefoot Dodge of Fred Schaefer, Pam Bodders, the Shirley Muldowney of monster truck racing, 10-year veteran and lead privateer Gary Porter. Week in, week out, they go toe-to-toe against one another and in joint pursuit of those with the biggest feet in the business. A noble chase, but it looks like this race has turned into a big blue oval stampede. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the best in MTRA monster truck racing. Today, from the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio, it's the Dodge Monster Drag. Let me jog your memory. It was just 1 year ago here at Canfield that Dan Runte and the Power Wheels Bigfoot came away with 2 victories. However, it was his teammate Andy Brass who won the seasonal Penda Points Championship. So far this weekend in 3 outings, once again, Dan has won 2 of them and appears to be well on his way to the Penda Points Championship this season. However, there is another great battle raging right now, and with information on that, here's Army Armstrong.
The points battle you're speaking of has to be between the Chevrolet camp of Gary Porter and the Ford camp of Eric Meagers. Now in Canfield this weekend, Gary Porter has already taken 2 final round appearances and winning 1 of them, so that's moving him around in the points. On the other side of the ledger, the Canfield has been a bad omen for the Ford camp. They had trouble getting in here. They've had to work so hard in between every round just to stay alive, but they're doing that. We're in the second round of competition today. Both trucks we spoke about have won in the first round, so the 110-point gap stays 110 points as we go into this next round of competition, Gary.
The top 5 in points after 12 events, the top 5 qualifiers, 3rd race in a row. Fred Schaefer has been quick, but he's been getting knocked out of the second round. Ken Deppy's 5-second run was a costly one. His problems in qualifying here in Canfield continue. There is Deppy kicked out a rod in qualifying and was not able to make it to round 1. That is a costly one indeed. Round 1 highlights. This matchup between Kirk Dabney and Pam Bodders appears to be heating up as a real good rivalry, with the 2 trading wins several times here at Canfield, and this win going to that Ford pickup truck at a 520. Kirk Dabney knocks out Pam Bodders, but she would come back as a fast loser. Another good round 1 matchup, Dan Patrick near lane against Gary Porter in the far lane, and Porter wins this one by a 1/10 of a second. Great post racing here in Canfield. There's that 524 for Gary Porter. And how many times have we seen this? Dan Runte once again laying down the low ET of round 1. He knocked out Mark Hall in the Executioner. There's that 497. He'll have lane choice for round 2 as we take a look at the round 2-3. Once again, Pam Bodders coming back as a fast loser, as will Dan Patrick. So those 2 competitors will be back in round 2. And as we said before, for the 3rd straight race, Fred Schaefer is the quick qualifier. He leads us into round 2 competition. However, Fred, second the points, has had trouble getting out of the second round. He's been disqualified for going out of bounds. He's been defeated, so it's been tough for Fred. But earlier we talked to Fred about the lane differences here at Canfield.
It seems like the right lane, the dirt's a lot better than the right lane. The left lane, the dirt is so hard there that it's not breaking the dirt up. You're actually spinning on top of that hard dirt. It's kind of like asphalt. The right lane seems to be the best lane.
All right, so we'll look to see if the drivers choose that right lane for those that have lane choice.
But you also got to remember the right lane has that dip that he's been disqualified on, Gary.
Army, I think it was 2 races ago that he was disqualified in that near lane. He went out of bounds, but there's a look at Dan Patrick in the Samson truck, a truck that he has built, maintains, and drives himself out of the Buckeye State, so he is a local favorite here in Canfield, Ohio. Dodge Monster Truck Drags here in Canfield, Ohio. Fred Schaefer and Dan Patrick. Now this time, Freddie's going to get out of round 2. Good run.
Finally gets a good run, a straight run out of the right lane. I was holding my breath because he has been snake bitten in that lane all year long. He finally got a hair of the dog that bit him, though.
Now take a look again, coming right at you. He cut a good light, and it was all Fred Schaefer in the big Dodge Ram-powered pickup truck. And let's go back down trackside and talk to Fred.
Fred Schaefer looked like you almost backpedaled in no man's land there to keep the power away from it.
Yeah, I did, Army. I don't want to take any chances I don't have to take. We're trying to hang right in there to that final round, and then we'll put it all down just like we did in qualifying.
I don't think you call that sandbagging. He may have something left, though. We'll find out. Welcome back to the Canfield Fairgrounds here in Canfield, Ohio for the Dodge Monster Drags here in northeastern Ohio as we get ready for more round 2 competition. Eric Meager in the big blue Bigfoot Ford. He'll be taking on Alan Pizzo in the Predator. And of course, there's Eric Meager, the Bigfoot organization out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. And there's Alan Pizzo, one of the coming independents with a truck that has become a favorite of the kids because of that fiberglass nose on the Predator. Now, you know, you talk about crew chiefs. Alan Pizzo has a most unusual crew chief in that his dad is his crew chief, but his dad also has another professional practice. Here's Army.
There are little idiosyncrasies that each team brings to the table with them. Stop and think about that. Everybody's got some little niche. Well, Alan Pizzo's got a unique crew member. It's his dad, but his dad's a chiropractor. And all the other teams love it when Alan comes in because they know his father Bob's with him. If they got any kind of back problem, they got a friend here to take care of him. He's not a registered mechanic, but he is a registered doctor.
Well, back problems are a big problem in this sport, but, you know, I got a little kink on my neck. If I can get that worked on when this race is over. It's all Bigfoot. Eric Meager by a truck length at 5.09. So he knocks out Alan Pizzo. And Alan is headed back to the tow rig with the Predator as we take a look at starter Joe Batista from the Youngstown Rod and Custom Host Club here in Canfield, Ohio. And we salute all the volunteers that make these events happen throughout the country. Right now, let's go visit trackside with Eric Meager.
First thing that happens every time you get out of the truck, this man runs over and starts reading the spark plugs.
That's right. Gary Sleen's doing us one fine job here. We had some motor problems last night. This is actually a brand new motor. First couple passes on it. Gary's always on top of stuff. He's tuning the motors here today. Like I said, doing us a fine job making these Fords run here.
Certainly a team effort for the Bigfoot organization. The drivers seem to be in the spotlight, but they certainly know to thank the crew guys for making it happen. Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher, the Chevrolet, and he will stage against Kirk Dabney in the Overkill 4. There's a good look into the cockpit of the 10-year veteran. And there's a look at the front grille. See how high that truck sets? There is Kirk Dabney, new driving position, all the monster trucks in the center.
Also, they also set above the engine combination to move the engine back into the rear, trying to get that better balance to work for them.
Good hole shot for Gary Porter. Gary Porter takes the victory about a half length. Gary Porter's time, 5.10. So he knocks out Kirk Dabney, and Porter will continue on in competition with the Chevrolet as we take a look again.
Both drivers leave a good start, but Porter gets to settle down in no man's land and really pick it up.
And there's the margin of victory for Gary Porter. He's with Army.
Gary, every round we keep finding out how important the start is.
That's right. All the trucks are so competitive with one another. I mean, you have to use everything you can. You got to really watch that light close and, you know, and try to leave before the green comes on is really what you try to do, because you have, you know, a little roll out there before you hit the red light. And, you know, I'm really leaning on those chance converters there on the starting line, and I would just like to take time to thank them for their converters. And, you know, they've been really supporting me a lot out here.
Once again, he is getting good support from associate sponsors. We'd love to see him get one major sponsor, though, because he has been a battler for a number of years. And there's a look at the brain trust behind Pam Botters. Pete Bronzine on the left, Mike Botters on the right. As they walk in behind the Boogie van, she starts the stage against Dan Runty and the Power Wheels Bigfoot. Runty again from the St. Louis area. Pam Botters, a young lady from Hagerstown, Maryland. Boy, has she really stepped up her game this season.
Well, once they brought an engine technician on board with them, and a lot of these engine technicians we're talking about, when they're not working with monster trucks, they're working with funny cars on the NHRA drag racing circuit, so the knowledge is there. It's just, you know, a horsepower in an engine is still there. It's just how you get it to go to the ground, whether it be a 1,320 feet drag racing or a 10,000-pound monster truck. You got to get the horsepower to work for you.
Well, you saw Pete and Mike talking there behind the starter as Pam drove in to stage the bookie van. So it's Ford against Ford, van against pickup. Still trying to stage the two Fords. Well, something happened to Pam that time because it was all Dan Runte. Pam had a problem. 494 for the Power Wheels.
Runte was smooth on that start line.
We'll give you a view here so you can watch the suspension work. 10,000 pounds working that suspension as Runte is coming right at you. Oh, what a great shot. You can see the air there, the rough landing, the suspension works. Let's talk to Dan Runte.
Well, Dan, you set the field for the Final Four, that being 2 Fords, 1 Dodge, and 1 Chevrolet. What do you feel like your chances are?
Well, the Fords are outnumbering the other 2 right now, so that should be a pretty good chance right there. We've been running real consistent all day. The truck's staying down in the 4s or real close to the 4s. The right lane's feeling really comfortable. Gary's been doing some real tuning on the motor. We lost a little bit of air today, and that's been harder on him and harder on us, but I think we'll come out of this all right.
We shall find out. The semifinals are coming up. We are ready for the semifinal action here in the Dodge Monster Drags from the Canfield Fairgrounds in Canfield, Ohio. Fred Schaefer, hey, the fast qualifier, 3rd straight race. He's in the semis with his Dodge. He'll be going against the Ford of Eric Meager. As we take a look now at the semifinal 3, you'll see what? 2 Fords, the Dodge, and then the Chevrolet of the Carolina Crusher. So all the major brands represented here in the semis at Canfield. Ford against the Dodge. Schaefer against Meager. There's the Barefoot Dodge.
And your other semi is going to be a Ford against a Chevrolet. So bragging rights for Monday morning truck sales are on the line at this one right now, Gary.
But keep in mind, this whole weekend is being sponsored by Dodge Trucks. They'd like to see that Dodge Hemi in Victory Lane.
Well, the Hemi's been there many, many times. It's not a question of making a horsepower or anything. It's just getting the vehicle to actually get down the track.
There's the Ram logo on one of the cones there behind our starter.
Eric Meager.
Near lane is Schaefer. Far lane is Meager.
New kid in the far lane. Old pro in the near lane. Ford against Dodge.
Oh, Schaefer drilled him.
Whoa.
Schaefer drilled him at the light. The old veteran from Pontoon Beach, Illinois, with a 491.
And he's starting to get straight runs out of the vehicle, Gary.
Low ET for Schaefer. We'll watch the replay, and right here is where the advantage goes to the red Dodge. He drilled him at the starting light and takes the victory. He'll go to the finals, and let's go down trackside now and visit with Fred Schaefer.
Fred Schaefer, the 4-second barrier, 491, and it looks like you're getting used to it out there.
Yeah, the track's coming in, Army, and the truck's sticking to the track a lot better, and I'm being able to use all that Dodge horsepower.
Well, of course, we'll take one more look at Fred Schaefer with that 491. Now, he's in the near lane.
Watch the rear tires. They really don't go up in the air. See, they stay close to the ground where you can put that horsepower to use. Horsepower doesn't do you any good if you're flying. You got to be touching the ground.
Someone in this next race will have to run a 490 for lane choice in the finals. And so now we have Dan Runte, the Power Wheels Bigfoot, in the Ford against the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet of Gary Porter. There's the grill of Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. So the near lane, the fast lane right now belongs to Dan Runte.
Every now and then, Porter talk about Neil Chance and the torque converters. Well, the torque converter is an 8-inch piece of metal that takes all the horsepower, 1,500 horsepower, and makes, actually, the horsepower goes through the torque converter to make these big 10,000-pound trucks move. The Bigfoot team, they rely on the TCI torque converter, so there's different brands of torque converters to get the horsepower to the ground, just like there's different brands of vehicles.
Just 2 races ago, remember, Porter knocked out Runte in the semis. Let's watch this time. Oh, not this time. Runte looked like, what, a couple of feet? A 496. So Fred Schaefer will have lane choice with his 491. So it's a Dodge against Ford in the finals as the Chevrolet Carolina Crusher heads back to the hauler. One more look.
The replay comes on the screen. I'll bet a week of your paycheck that Fred Schaefer's going to go on his right lane. It's the quickest.
All right, let's talk to Dan Runte.
While we're waiting for Dan Runty to come out of the vehicle to do an interview, winter interview for him, and setting him up for the finals, we look immediately underneath his transfer case and notice, yes, they are making a gear change. Real quick, I'm going to grab you. Gear change looks like it's in the work.
Yeah, we're going to have to, Army, get some tire speed. We're going to get moved over that left lane. It's a little rougher lane. It's been spinning a lot more on the line. We're figuring we can gear up, take away from the motor a little bit, and slow this tire spin down and see what happens in the finals.
Incredible how much strategy, mechanical know-how can go into a different lane. As we take a look at that replay again, the near lane victory, but in the final round, he will be in the far lane, so they are making the adjustments right now on that truck. And in the meantime, let's go talk to Gary Porter.
Gary, nothing to be ashamed of. All these Chevrolet people all over the country are pulling like crazy for you. You know, I think you're doing an awfully good job.
Yeah, thank you, Army. You know, out here running with Bigfoot, you know, and all the, big corporate sponsorship guys. I mean, yeah, I would like to win, but I can't complain. You know, I'll just have to take it, you know, like it came today, and, we'll be back another day stronger, I hope.
Finals coming up as the work continues on the Bigfoot Ford. Remember, they're changing the gears in that thing to rob some horsepower from the engine for the championship. It's time for the finals here in Canfield, Ohio. The Dodge Monster Drags. And we're going to have us a Dodge in the finals. One Dodge and one Ford. There is the Dodge contingency, the Barefoot Dodge of Fred Schaefer. And he'll go up against Dan Runty, Power Wheels Bigfoot. Well, the Dodge Monster Drags, like the four-wheel Jamborees, are part of the Special Events Performance Series. Visit the manufacturer's Midway. There's also several categories of show and shine competition. To find out when a Jamboree or a Monster Drag will be in your area, contact the Special Events Promotion Company and take part in the four-wheel fun. We're going to have some fun now. This final shootout should be a dandy.
Well, you can call it fun if you want, but what you're going to be looking at is a war between two major corporations. Chrysler Corporation in the red lane, in the blue lane, the Ford boys, the Blue Oval bunch. So, yeah, this is about as serious a race as you're going to get right now.
A couple of veterans, no strangers to the final round of competition. Earlier, we talked to Dan Runty about this matchup.
Gary, we're standing with Dan Runty in a place he hasn't been very often. That's the left lane at Canfield. What are you looking for?
Well, we're kind of trying to see where we can leave from. A couple guys have been leaving from up higher on this track. Other guys are just falling back in the same groove. We're trying to figure out between Eric and I where we're going to get the better traction and get the whole shot out of this lane.
Okay, tell me, where's it going to be?
We're going to fall back in the hole.
All right, let's see if that strategy will work as we are staging for the finals here in Canfield. The Power Wheels Bigfoot in the far lane, the Ford. And in the right lane, the near lane, will be Fred Schaefer.
Well, he's talking about dropping back in the hole. I think that's a good move because it gives him an opportunity to get the horsepower actually planted. He doesn't have to worry about falling off. He can just go straight. If he can leave, get a good light, he's got a chance to pull this Dodge.
Well, will the Dodge take the Dodge money? Will the Ford take the Dodge money here in Canfield?
We can feel the drama.
Almost a half truck it was indeed. Dan Runty, the Power Wheels Ford at 5.02. Fred Schaefer has been fast this afternoon. He couldn't hook it up that time as Dan Runty shot him down in the Ford.
First win out of the lane. First win out of the left lane. He did his homework, and he got an A today.
So Dan Runty, by that margin right there, takes the win here in Canfield.
Smoke 'em.
Well, I thought we did walk into a slapping contest here with the team congratulating you and everything. Let's get over here where we can, the crowd and everybody's looking for you. We need to kind of get them involved in this thing, too. We're going to let you get the autographs, but real quick, tough race was Fred, as usual.
It was a tough race. Power Wheels Ford came out on top. We owe a lot to BDS, MSD, Firestone. I mean, they're all great people, let alone the crew here and the crew back at the shop we keep working with. I mean, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, and Ford can't complain about that.
Congratulations to you. Great job.
Thanks, Army.
In the Penda Points standings, now Gary Porter picks up 10 points on Eric Meager as we head to the final 2 races of the year at Indy. But right now, let's go back to the track and talk to the guy who finishes second this afternoon, Fred Schaefer.
Fred, let us jump in here real quick while you're signing autographs for your fans and everything. And, you know, no man's land. Horsepower, that was the problem.
It got crooked on me, Army, and I let out of it. You can obviously see I couldn't back the time up. If I'd have backed my time up, it would have been an easy win. I couldn't back it up. The truck got crooked in no man's land there. I had to get out of it.
Well, our congratulations to Fred Schaefer. Hope you enjoyed today's Monster Truck Racing. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now, here's news and exciting video release from Diamond B Sports.